This is what's on the menu today. Replica Jazz Club, if it'll focus. There you go. Jazz Club from Maison Margiela. And I've heard a lot about this brand. I know about it not specifically, but mainly because the actual bottle, not this sample, but the bottle itself looks like a can of bug spray or industrial cleaner, which I thought was interesting. But this is a sample, so it doesn't look like that. This scent came out in 2013. It's for men, and hence the name Jazz Club. You can expect it's a pretty smoky, warm sort of fragrance. I have not tried it yet. I haven't tried any fragrances from this particular brand yet, so I'm pretty interested to see what this has to offer. I have heard good things about fragrances from this brand in general, so I'm expecting that this will be pretty good. And so, alright, let's put some on. Okay, so the opening was actually interesting. The opening is very unique. It's fresh and citrusy, but not in your typical way, because there are plenty of, especially male fragrances that have a citrus opening, nice and bright and fresh. It has that, but only to a certain degree. Then it changes to something spicier, deeper, warmer. This is definitely a heavier scent. The top notes, there's 3 top notes: pink pepper, neroli, and lemon. So I think what I'm getting, because the lemon, like I said, that's the citrus opening. But what makes it different is the pink pepper, because it has that spiciness. It really kind of singes your nose, and I quite like that. Pink pepper is one of my favorite notes, just in general. It's a very warm, spicy note. And then I could already see there's tobacco in this, but before I get to that, let me talk about the middle notes. Specifically, the middle notes are rum, Java vetiver oil, and clary sage. So rum, I would say, is probably the most dominant middle note here. I always like rum notes, whiskey notes. I think it adds a nice warmth, a nice character and depth to a fragrance. And I would say the sage is pretty faint, but the vetiver also adds a certain grassy dryness as well. Then the base notes are tobacco leaf, vanilla bean, and styrax. So the strongest note overall of the entire fragrance is the tobacco leaf. Pretty much as soon as I put it on, you get the citrus and the pink pepper, but then immediately the tobacco note starts showing itself. I really like tobacco. I think tobacco in men's fragrances and women's fragrances is just a really nice note. Some people aren't into it because it is a pretty strong note, very smoky, of course. But besides just smoky, it does have that natural leafiness, that dried, aged leaf sort of smell, which is strong. It's really good for cold weather because it is so warm and cozy. It does it really well in this fragrance, I would say. You can definitely imagine this mix of like a cigar and a glass of rum, that mixture. And considering that this is, jazz club-esque, meant to, you're transported into a jazz club just with this smell. Even on this vial here, it says reproduction of familiar scents and moments of varying locations and periods. So yeah, this is all about, transporting yourself into a certain moment, a period. And I think it does it pretty well. Jazz clubs obviously are this very cool and kind of exotic environment. And I haven't been to a jazz club, but I would expect it would smell like this. The smokiness, the alcoholic notes, the pink pepper, the citrus, a very unique mix. Definitely kind of sophisticated, complex, intriguing, and yeah, I do really like the tobacco note. It's very prominent, very strong. At the same time, it doesn't completely overshadow the other notes in this. I would say the rum note still holds pretty strong. The lemon surprisingly sticks around a little bit. The vanilla, I would say it's on the fainter side. You're definitely not going to get a very significant vanilla note here. This is more of just a moderate, mild to moderate vanilla. And like I said, the vetiver itself is always a good warm note that complements other warm notes, especially like tobacco. And overall, this is a really nicely crafted, well-rounded sort of fragrance. And I would say it's more of a moderate, like in terms of longevity and sillage projection. Despite these strong notes like the tobacco and rum, it's really more of a moderate fragrance in those terms. So it is strong, but it probably won't fill up the room, which is fine because sometimes you don't want to be too overpowering. This is a really good, just moderate fragrance, and because of that, it's pretty versatile. Even though I would say this is probably best for evening and cold weather wear, this is definitely versatile enough to be worn in other occasions as well. Because of the citrus note, it lightens it up along with the neroli. So it's not super heavy, too intense. It's very nicely balanced, very moderate. And the longevity, I would say it's probably 6 hours. Not too strong, not too weak, very nice in the middle. So yeah, just a really nice fragrance. Even though it is for men, I would say it is probably a pretty good unisex scent, especially if you like tobacco just in general, because like I said, the tobacco is the main thing you're going to get here. It's just, yeah, very pleasant sort of fragrance, especially if you like warmer, heavier fragrances. And I suppose that's all I have to say about this particular fragrance. So if you have any opinions about it, you can always leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you like the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.